Thank you very much, Mr. Mahkijani, and he will be followed by Mr. John Perry, Jr.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm Arjun Mahkijani, President of the Institute for Energy and Environmental Research. I must say you could have been a little better served by your briefings about Fukushima. I was a little bit shocked to hear that the NRC did not know how much spent fuel there was at Fukushima and couldn't give you a relative assessment of what there is here, so let me give you a little vignette anyway. This information is public by the Japan Atomic Industrial Forum since March. Roughly 50 tons in Unit 1, roughly 90 tons in Unit 2, or 3, 100 tons. I don't know whether I got Unit 2 and 3 mixed up. About 240 metric tons, including the core, in Unit 4. When you add all those up, it is less than in the spent fuel pool of Vermont Yankee alone, which was relicensed without requiring dry storage in the middle of this crisis. I think the NRC is doing a shocking job, and I think their response to your questions about dry storage, since I can't think of any polite ways to say it, I won't. I think the public is not being well served. There are many obvious lessons that could have been learned on day 3. I issued a spent fuel pool warning on the 15th of March, or the 14th of March, I think, before TEPCO. There are lots of lessons to be learned. One among them that is obvious is that about 1 out of every 100 light water reactors that have ever been built has now suffered core damage. That's a shocking number, and I think you ought to take into account before you recommend that we ought to continue making plutonium just to boil water, because that's what we're doing. All right, I was disappointed that documents were not public before this, so we couldn't read your reports and comment on them, and have to rely on slides and impromptu, especially as we are restricted to 3 minutes. I was happy to see, let me say something positive. I was happy to see that waste classification is proposed to be revised. I do agree, as a Hindu, I can tell you I'm well qualified to say we don't have a classification system, but we have a caste system for waste, according to origin. So I'm glad that it is proposed to be revised. I am not confident that performance standards will be properly implemented. Performance standards are very flexible. In regard to depleted uranium, the NRC staff did a performance assessment in which they said there would be no erosion at an unspecified generic site for 1 million years. And then during the public discussion, of which a transcript is available, the author of this report essentially said it was silly to do that. And the NRC's own expert also said it was silly, and then we all agreed that silly wasn't an appropriate regulatory term, or something equivalent to silly. I can't remember the exact word. I can tell you that in the licensing technical document for the Utah Energy Solutions waste site, there is a number that says that Utah can dispose of more uranium than the weight of the earth per gram of Utah soil. I testified to this under oath in 2004 at the same time as the government, NRC, and the company said, the license applicant said that it was a scientifically sound report, and to date it has not been corrected, nor have I been corrected. I believe nuclear engineers around the site, you can see how many kilograms 10 to the 37 picocuries is, and arrive at the same conclusion pretty ease of uranium-238.
Your time has expired, Mr. Mahkijani.
I think I have zero confidence in the ability of the establishment to do sensible performance standards, given that for 7 years they have not changed the document that says we can dispose of more uranium than the weight of the earth per gram of Utah soil.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mahkijani. I understand